it's Adele and April from Just Say Scrap, and we are here with Technique Tuesday with my kitties.
Bear,
Nala Koala, and Blair Bear. They're so cute. And our new matching jean jackets. Don't you love them? As Nala just gets thrown around. Right? Well, baby. So today we are going to be showing you our brand new embossing folder and our stencils for the butterflies. So make sure you stick around, watch our video to see all of the awesome things that you can do with this set. So we are here with some really fun things that are in the brand new catalog. You can't really see them very well on the Versa mat. I'll put them on the all-purpose mat. Oh, look, you can see it so much better. This is our embossing folder and stencil butterfly slimline set. It's beautiful. We love it. We've already made a card with it. I will show you the card. And if you actually go to our videos, we did a demo on this for a weekend, so you can go see how we made this card. But we're going to do a bunch of other things with it and show you how it works. Obviously, you can see it on the demo as well, but we are going to break it down, do it with a bunch of different things and different techniques, and just have a lot of fun with it because it's just such a pretty thing, and you do not want to miss out. It is in the current catalog. So it's right here. You can see it. They've got some beautiful designs. This is what we actually scrap lifted for our design. So you can see it's very similar, still different, which we love about everything like this. So yay, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to break this down. We're going to do a regular slimline card with you, just how it's supposed to be. And then we're going to do a bunch of different things of ideas that we've had with it. So we're gonna this is gonna be a longer video, but trust me, you're gonna want to watch it because this set is beautiful. All right, so let's get started. So just a fun thing to do if your blade ever gets dull like ours did. This is just an old edge distressor. You can use an emery board or something like that, but if your blade is ever just, you know, annoying you, just distress your edge and then get on with your project. Just another idea, right? So this White Daisy piece of paper is cut at 3 1/4 by 8 1/4 because our slimline cards are 3 1/2 by 8 1/2. So we put that in here. We are using our embossing, our die cutting embossing machine. We are having it on 3D emboss because we are embossing. So we're going to open this up. Remember, this is the close to my heart one. It is super strong when it actually is open. We've got our handle here. And oops, sorry. So what's really nice about Close to My Heart's machine, and we actually leave this in the arm or the pocket, thank you, here. So this is how to use. So it shows you how to do the die cuts, die cutting and embossing, where you can like do both. It shows you steel ruled dies. It shows you 2D embossing folder. There's like textured plates, there's leathers, plates. Oh my gosh, I can't speak anymore. But it kind of shows you all of these different things where you can kind of do like different things. So just showing you, and it tells you like the pressure and all that jazz as well. So this is always a good thing to have. We are doing the 3D emboss, which I just said, which is going to be our cutting mat, which is this, our standard platform, and then the paper and the embossing folder. Here we go. Perfect. So see, we've got this beautiful embossed piece now. I'm going to put this off to the side. If we have to emboss anymore, I'm not going to show you how to do it because I showed you how to do it once. But since we're going to show you a bunch of different ways to do this, you will see other embossed pieces. Mom will just do that off to the side. So we now have our beautiful embossing here. I hope that you can see it on this video. It is so pretty. There we go. You can see that. And I'm actually going to bring it a little closer down while we do this stuff. All right. So our first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to line up our embossing and our stencil here. So when you do this, you want to try to get it as perfect as possible. If it's not completely perfect, that's 100% okay. Don't stress about it not being 100%. We are not here to stress. And we're going to washi tape, or you can use masking tape to just get this down. I'm actually going to cover one of the spots just a little bit because we want to make sure that when we are using our sponge, that the stencil actually doesn't move on us. And we have round sponge that we're going to use. That one's a little squishy. But with the round sponge, you can cut it into quarters. If you've seen our previous videos, you've seen Mom uses quarters. Some of these are actually cut into eighths. So, and this is one of our round sponges that's been cut into actually more than eighths. Wow, cut that into a lot. So there's a lot of sponges here, and that's going to be good because we are going to make this into a rainbow effect using our inks. So this is one of our ink cases, which I absolutely love. So I'm going to kind of tell you the colors I'm doing as we go along here. So should we do this a more pastel-y rainbow, or should we do it like a vibrant rainbow?
Well, we did it pastel-y before. Why don't we?
So you want to do vibrant? All right, so we're doing vibrant, which means we're starting with lemonade. All right. So these ink pads have no ink on them. We have cleaned sponges. Them. That's what I meant. We have cleaned them all off. If you need to test it on scrap paper, you can see that there's literally nothing coming off. If you're afraid that something like this dark ink is going to come off, you can also use the edges. So I will use an edge. You'll see it's just a regular yellow. So we're going to just basically ombre this down. Our next color is nectarine. Next we've got candy apple. Next we're using clover. And here's where things get not tricky, but you just got to move this and hold this and then move your washi tape up so it attaches to a different part. Got an Italian butterfly for Christmas.
Christmas butterfly.
Doesn't it look like that?
Yes, yes. That's funny. It just worked out that way.
It did. I mean, that's the rainbow. Oh, I did the wrong rainbow. It's Roy.
Yeah, I know. I was wondering.
Oh, dang it. We got to redo this. Oh, man. I was dumb.
Well, it's
whatever. We're going to just keep it like this. I was doing a rainbow in the wrong way. Sad day.
I was wondering. I just thought you had a method to your madness.
I didn't have a method to my madness. I just did it wrong. You didn't correct me.
Well, there's going Roy.
I know. Oh, man. I do rainbows all the time. How did I do that?
Actually, I thought you were just like, I don't know.
Oh, man. Now I'm sad. Oh, well. Okay, we're going to then do Wisteria. It'll still look good. I was like, I've never had the green and the red next to each other. It'll show you that scrappy mistakes are happy mistakes. It's my indigo and violet. Even though it's Wisteria and grape. All right, let's look at my happy accident. It looks pretty, it's just weird. Oh man, I didn't realize I did that, but it actually looks cool, right?
It does.
Should I redo it in the actual rainbow?
And this way you can give that one for Christmas.
Should I redo it?
You can.
All right, so then the next step here is I'm going to just keep going with my happy accident. I'm going to redo it with the other colors and do another technique over it. But you kind of want to just get this down on top then. And then ink all of this as well. So what we're going to do, because we don't use this very often, is I'm actually going to use some White Daisy right now. White Daisy is a pigment ink. So just note that it's a lot stickier. It's not as easy to rub on, but we can still use it and it will still give the effect and a beautiful look. You can also emboss on top of this if you want to. That's what pigment is all about. But it's going to give us a very, very subtle look of the detail that this butterfly stamp has. And it's going to look great. And then Mom's just going to go clean this off right away because pigment is a little bit stickier. It's going to be very subtle, like I said. And then you got to let this dry a little bit because pigment does take a little bit longer. I was thinking about doing this with black. You totally could because that would give it a totally different effect. Yes. You can also do this with the, I keep looking at our Aurora Borealis effect over there. And I feel like these butterflies would look beautiful on top of it. even just like with that and the black, just doing like a black stencil throughout the whole thing. But there's just
That's very pretty.
really, really simple, just with some white daisy. And you see all that little detail in those butterflies. This actually turned out really nice. Better than I imagined. All right, so Mom's gonna go clean those off. I'm gonna get this next paper set up and we'll be right back. All right, so we have embossed this again. We are taping it down once again. And I will do the correct Roy G. Biv. But I am replacing Wisteria with Flamingo. All right, so as you see here, the Flamingo actually became a little bit blue and purple. That's because I didn't realize Mom had just washed that sponge, so it took the blue ink that was on the stencil and mixed it a little bit, but it still looks pink enough, even though it's supposed to be indigo. I like to use pink. It's just me. So this is how my butterfly was supposed to look. I still think it looks cool, like this. Even though I have an Italian butterfly. So this time we're going to have a little bit of fun. And we're going to line this up. And we're going to do some embossing. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our white embossing powder and our embossing pens, actually. So I'm going to grab in a scrap piece of paper for when we put down the embossing powder. I'm not going to do it right away because I have this tacked down. But I think I'm going to go butterfly by butterfly just to make sure that the ink doesn't dry. So we have our embossing pens come in a 3 set. So I'm going to be using, I think, the medium, but it also comes in a brush pen and it comes in a broad. So I'm going to be using the medium because that's the smallest one. So we're basically going to just be coloring it inside of these designs. You could use a Versamark and a sponge like I've done in the past, but we wanted to do something a little different and show you that the embossing pens can also be used. So here we go. All right, so that's the first emboss one. I totally forgot. You can always use an anti-static pouch too, to kind of like puff along this, just to make sure that the powder doesn't stick as much. So I just put a little bit of my anti-static pouch on there, which will help wipe off the powder when we are done. So I'm just going to kind of rub that along my card here. All right, so close your pens too. Don't leave them open like I just did. I'm also doing this pretty fast, as you see. I'm not like getting like super detail oriented. The nice thing about this ink is it is pink, so you can see kind of where you've gone, and it actually helps with showing you whether or not it's drying. It doesn't dry instantly, but you do want to do it pretty quick just so it does catch that powder that you are putting onto it. So that's why I'm doing this pretty fast, just trying to get into all those little spots so the ink catches and it gives it that design, but not necessarily like overdoing it. So just so we can get some ink in there, and you can kind of see that it is pink when I pull it up there. There you have it. So just to show you the difference between these two, you can see how the white embossing powder really does make the detail pop, whereas the white daisy kind of sinks into it a little bit more and it is a little bit more subtle, but both of them are so beautiful in their own ways. So that's just 2 different techniques that we have, and we're going to be back with some more. So let us just go get another white daisy piece and show you what we're going to do next.
So for this project, we are only going to need our embossing folder. The stencils, we're just going to put off to the side. We're going to do a project with those a little later, another project. Of course, you're going to need a die cutting machine, And as we've told you before, whoops, I think this is a little too low. We use our Close to My Heart die cutting machine, and the settings would be on letterpress 2D emboss. And then for the pressure, I just have it at 0, right here, 0. If you find you want it a little tighter, you could go a little tighter, a little looser. You can go this way. You could press and turn the dial. I have already embossed the pieces that I want, so I will show you those. I decided to do it in Wisteria. I did the dark side of Wisteria, and then I embossed on the light side. So this piece, the dark side of Wisteria, we're just going to put off to the side because that piece is now finished for now. And the lighter side, what we're going to do is, I'm going to get my glasses so I could see what I'm doing, is we're going to cut out the butterflies. And then we are going to pop them up onto the other piece. So I have my micro tip scissors with me here, and I am just going to cut around where they are embossed. I did cut away the extras so I could work with cutting the butterflies a little better. I find that embossing the butterflies and cutting them like this is very easy makes it a lot easier to follow around a line. So we have some of these other butterflies here that I think I'm going to try to also cut. All right, so now we have all of our butterflies cut out. And as I said before, we're going to attach these to our background with 3D foam tape. So I have my 3D foam tape. It's actually the thin 3D foam tape. And we're just going to use our non-stick micro tip scissors. And we're going to add some foam tape to the back of these. Whoops, what happened to that little one? Oh, there it goes. And I am just going to cut thin strips of it because I want to raise my butterfly wings. So I'm just going to put some small strips right in the center of the butterfly. Then I'm going to have some very little ones. And before I attach them, we're going to be using our Wisteria shimmer brush. It's a beautiful color to match the Wisteria paper. Our butterflies are trying to fly all over the place. So I'm just going to take this and go over the edge. And you don't have to do it all around the edges. You can, if you wanted to just do the middle of the butterfly, you could do that. You could just highlight the middle of the butterfly. And these little guys, I think we're just going to leave them the way they are. And now I'm just going to make sure I put the butterflies where they belong. And then we just lift the wings when we do that. Give them a little added something, a little added dimension. And that's our next project. I think it looks so pretty with the different color, the light and the dark and then popping them up. It just gives it a little bit more life. It looks like they're flying off your page. For this project, we are going to be using our Distress Oxides and our black exclusive ink. We are not using the embossing folder this time. We're going to put the embossing folder off to the side, and we are just working with the stencils. So I'm going to take my black ink, and where did the black, oh, there it is. Yep, that's it. And I'm going to take it and...
She's experimenting for a second too.
Yes, I am. I want to cover up this little guy up there so he doesn't come through.
Where's her masking tape? Mom didn't open hers. Look, it's a bundle. Ooh, that worked better than I thought it would go.
I did have one open, but I just have no idea where it is.
I think I have it. I think you gave me the two of yours that were opened.
Oh, okay.
So, Mom just had some difficulty opening that. Remember, we've said this before. Sometimes you got to get them started. It's just the way that this glue is because it's glued down. But if you get it started like this, and see how I'm able to rip it off. So even though this part was ripped, this part's not. Now this will come off nicely. If for some reason it's not, put it in the microwave for a few seconds, heating it up, or use a heat gun or something. You'll make the glue sticky again and it will stop.
So I'm covering up this tiny little butterfly because I do not want the ink to go through there. I only want it to go where I want it. Ha! So I'm just going to put some tape down to hold it. So when I'm inking it, it doesn't move and I mess up everything. So I'm just going to take my black ink.
I thought you were going over the whole thing.
And I'm going over
Are we experimenting? This is,
yes.
like I said, we're experimenting. Because Mom was experimenting before. She's funny when she does these things. She likes to take scrap paper and experiment. So she was experimenting with black ink before. But it wasn't looking black enough. It kind of had like a purple pigment to it. So I find sometimes when you are using like our regular black versus like our intense black or our archival black will have a little bit of a purpley feel to it. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
So you really got to like make the black. I mean, obviously if you're stamping in it, it's going to look black, anything like that. But if you want like a truer black, I would go with an archival or an intense black. That's just me personally. But for the purpose of what she's doing is she is inking up this entire butterfly, and then she's going to use the other stencil to go over it with a Distress Oxide. Distress Oxide inks, because we're not using another Distress Oxide ink, it's going to end up going on top of it.
Ah! Sorry.
She didn't put the masking tape down enough.
No, I did not.
That's okay. We'll get some washi tape in here and fix that up. This is the nice thing about the stencil. So what she's doing is she actually looked at some real butterflies and she took my favorite butterfly, a monarch, and she is now going to try and create that using the regular ink, which this one's a water-based ink, and our Distress Oxide, which is our pigment and what are these? It says it on the back. Dye-based, right? Dye and pigment infused ink.
Yes. So, and that's why I want the background to be very dark. But I didn't want to use our other inks because I was afraid. Oh, I think I pulled that the little tab up.
That's okay.
Too much.
You can bend it back when you're done.
So, I thought that those might not take the Distress Oxides as well. I mean, they might, but I wasn't sure if they would react to it.
Italian butterfly.
Your Italian butterfly.
I did that.
I think it's a Christmas butterfly, but I think
What's that like the Italian flag?
Subconsciously, you made it red and green because you like Christmas.
I can't believe I did that. So
all right. So we're going to pull this up. And there is our butterfly. And now,
if you wanted to, you could also put masking tape along the whole thing. She got a little bit there, but
yeah, I think that was for my fingers too, unfortunately. Oh, well.
No, I'm just kidding.
And now I'm going to place our stencil on top of our beautiful butterfly. And I'm going to put our washi tape back down.
Put some washi tape down.
April put the washi tape down.
How dare you take my credit.
And now I'm just taking one of our sponges. Oh, by the way, I was using a sponge also before. I didn't say that.
Like we have been using.
Yes.
Just make sure it's not a wet sponge.
Right.
Like I did last time.
Oh, especially with Distress Oxide, you don't want a wet sponge. And I am now using the spiced marmalade. And I'm going to make sure that I get in all those little creases, all those little holes in there.
Sometimes instead of swiping, you might just want to dab it like Mom's doing. Depends.
Yeah, it might cover it better, especially since I'm doing it on a black background. Mm-hmm. I think it's dabbing it will be a little bit more effective.
You can always swipe it to like actually get the color on and then dab after too, depending on what color you're using on the back and whatnot. It would also be really cool to do both things in Distress Oxide, because then when you are actually like doing it, remember the colors blend. So like it would be cool to actually blend the colors while you're doing it too. But if you don't want your Distress Oxides to blend, you do it this way with an ink and then another one.
Yes, and I want that orange to be prominent, just like it is in on the real monarchs.
My favorite butterflies.
Yes, and I think it works a little better when you get a little bit of the Distress Oxide in there first, and then go and dab it.
Once again, this is experimenting.
Especially in the smaller ones.
Another thing that might actually not necessarily look better, but might work better to get color is you can always do this exact same thing by mixing the Distress Oxide in some texture paste and then putting the texture paste over, because the texture paste is white, and because it's the opaque matte, it's like that thicker substance that'll definitely go on top of it easy. So you might be able to get the orange color a little bit more vibrant because it's with a white base versus doing it this way where it's going directly onto the black ink on ink. I still think it looks really pretty.
So you think that's enough? You think I should do some more? I think I should do some more.
I think you should do a little bit more. You can use a sponge. You can use a dauber. You can use, like, instead of using a sponge, you can also use like one of these. The mini ink blending tool. But I don't know where your mini ink blending tool is. Oh no, it ran away.
I think it's...
Oh, it's down the hall? Who knows? It's down the hall. I don't feel like getting it. So far away.
It might be right here.
Oh, it's right there.
And when you said down the hall, because that's where my Distress Oxides were.
Well, this might even work better than the sponge too if you have the domed thing. But Mom's having fun with this sponge, so.
Yes. All right.
Do it, do it, do it.
Okay. We are going to try. We're going to see. Going to see what this... Oh.
You want me to do it?
Yes,
okay,
because...
Don't roll over my toes. Ah! She got a little inky with the sponge. That's why I said that tool. All right. Ooh. Oh, I love that.
Really
oh, I love that so much.
I got orange on the side.
That's okay. You can fix that.
Yes.
That's easy. So, the next thing, which, do you want to do this? Or do you want me to do it?
You could do it.
You want me to do it? Okay. So, we have our jelly pens, our white gel pens. And they have different sizes. So, I know we've used these before, but we have a point, or not a point. It's 0, 5, 0, 8, and 10. So, there are different thicknesses of these. So, I'm going to take the 10 because I want it to be the biggest point. And we're going to make this look like an actual monarch butterfly. So I'm just going to pull Mom's computer down here so I can see it a little bit better. I am cheating and using a, oh look, it's a Vermont bear. Huh? You can see the edge. So I'm kind of like looking at the monarch at the same time while doing this. It's not going to be exact, but it'll be pretty cool. So monarchs have like these little white designs on them, like this. This will definitely, like these jelly pens will definitely draw over the black. Sometimes I like to color once and then go back over it again if the ink has kind of settled in, just to give it a little bit more of a white look. So because it is water-based, sometimes they do blend a little bit, but you can always do what I said and color over again to give it a little bit more of a vibrant look. I'm kind of making my own design here. They have like these little like triangle-y thingies. Oh, that looks so cool. I love it. Look how smart Mom is. She says she's not creative, and I don't agree. This is so pretty. This is such a good idea to like take butterflies from the wild, actual nature, and recreate it. Oh, I love this. So every butterfly is a little different. So I'm kind of just creating my own little like design of this butterfly. So we just looked it up, and the monarch doesn't have, he actually doesn't have dots here. So if you don't want to put dots down there, you don't have to. But he doesn't have any on his body, but he does have some on his head. So I'm going to dot his little head. So don't put dots in the inside if you don't want to. I'm actually going to take our black Le Pen and give this little guy some antennae, because they do have antennae, some little antennae. And to cover up my mistake, I can just take the black Le Pen and color over what I did. Or a marker. You could take the marker too. Sometimes I like to like keep this here because if I'm coloring over it, sometimes the ballpoint tip might get a little white if it's like too much. So I'm just having that as my backup. But this is how I correct mistakes. If I accidentally like draw something that shouldn't be drawn. Wow. Words today. I just take the black marker and fix it. Like there was a little bit of an ink splotchy there too. So you just use black marker or whatever you have. Like I said, you could use the black marker, the black pen, anything. It kind of corrects it a little bit, and then you got the actual thing that you want. You got two techniques in one today. Doesn't look too bad, right? Coloring it over him a little bit. I might use a marker later, but yay, our little monarch butterfly. He's so cute. I love him. There is a little bit of a rhyme and reason to the dots on his head, so I'm going to take some of the dots out. But oh, I love that experiment. Good job, Mommy.
Thank you.
So there you have it, all of our different techniques. So super cute. I love this. You did a good job. And you could color the butterflies different ways and, you know, add stickles to it and everything like that too. This was just a rough sketch, but I really, really love the two-tone. I just love our cardstock. Oh, it's the best. And then my Irish flag one. Christmas. We're going to take that one away. But I did like to actually seeing the difference between the embossed versus using the white pigment ink, because you can kind of see how this is much more vibrant versus this is a lot more subtle. I especially love it on this color, like this mixture. That one looks really good. And then just using it normally, like you saw on our one demo card, how to make this one. That's a few weeks ago. So if you wanted to check this out, go check that out. But then just using it by itself as just like a little accent. This couldn't fit on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. So this is a regular sized card. So kind of taking our stencil and making it into a different shaped card. But there are so many different possibilities with this, and I feel like you'll see something else on Throw It Together Thursday at the end of the month. But happy May, happy butterflies, and that's our technique. And that's Technique Tuesday. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments below. But that's everything, right?
Yes.
Right, girlies?
That's it.
Say
That's
bye.
all
Bye. Bye. Can't wait to see you next week. We woke them up, so they're a little tired.
Yeah.
Little tired goodies. Bye.
Bye.
Ready? Are we ready? Hey, Maggie, are you looking at the camera? A lot of junk on this screen. Ah, the penguin lost his nose. Oh no. And his eyes. Now he can see again. What is this with this? Your penguin's like drunk. He's been on a scrapbooking weekend for too long. There's no 63. It's 57, Mom.
I knew it.
So a 12 by 12. Yeah, so can I get some white daisy to cut? I need to cut some white daisy to do that. And that's what this is. So we actually had it on 3D emboss. It's actually a 2D emboss. That's our problem. 3D embossing folder. Nope, just kidding. This is a 3D. I don't know what I'm doing. La, 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 la. There's like this sponge was wet, so it took some of the color.
So so
you're a good girl.